Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. Few people would want to get Karen as a client. Well, our OP has managed that. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Of course I'll pay you back for the time you've spent with me. Let me just see how much your time is worth. I work in a call center doing tech support for a major American telecommunications company. Won't say which one, but if the polls are to be believed, you probably hate us already. Needless to say, I've come across more than a few angry customers who felt the need to take their frustrations out on whoever they can. The vast majority of the time, I take it more or less like a champ, move on, and then fix your problem, or get you someone who can. I am, however, 100% merciless once you're off my line or if I know you can't hear me. Some people have motivational kittens in their cubicles. I have a picture of AM from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream hanging in mine. All I'm saying. One night, calls are going a bit slow but still consistent. A lot of grandmas having trouble with the remote, a few boxes that need resetting, just bog standard calls. And then this lovely example of humanity comes into my line. I forget her name, let's just call her Karen. Me. Hello, thank you for calling company name. This is OP speaking. How can I... Karen. Oh my God, finally! I was on the line with that machine for like 30 minutes. Me. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I know the automated system can be frustrating. I'll be taking care of you from this point forward. How may I... Whatever, just fix my HD. If I may pull back the curtain for a moment, when you call into a company like this, especially for tech support, going through the automated system is actually very helpful because it'll automatically populate your account information so the agent you work with doesn't need to waste time looking up your equipment to try to fix it. However, if you mash 0 or shout representative into the phone, it'll provide us with nothing and we get to ask you all the questions you could have answered when you were on hold. Karen very clearly found working with the automated system to be beneath her. So there went another 3 minutes of both our lives as I extract her name and address like teeth from a pissed-off alligator. Over the course of the call, I came to find that Karen was calling because she was unable to watch the HD channels that were included in her package, but she was able to watch the SD versions. I quickly went into our billing system and found that she was not being assessed a fee that we charge to view video content in HD. Easy fix. I just need to add it to her account and the channels will become available. The whole time I'm going through her account and making the necessary changes, she's huffing and sighing at me like a petulant child. Once I get to the approval process, I have the billing system send her a text that includes her order summary, which she needs to respond to in order to approve the order. Karen then asked me why she's being charged an extra $10 a month. Mind you, as soon as I discovered that the HD fee wasn't on her account, I'd explained what had been causing the problem. I explained that this was the HD fee that had to be charged so she could watch the HD channels. Karen just huffs at me and approves the order. I push it through, have her tuned to an HD channel, and like magic, they come in clear as day. Me. Excellent. Is there anything else I can assist you with? Karen. Yeah, where's my credit? Me. I'm sorry, what? Karen. You should credit my whole bill off for this. I haven't been able to get HD for 2 whole months. I look at her call history. She hadn't called in well over 2 months. I politely explained that since no effort was made on her part to call in and fix the issue, I could not justify that kind of credit. She continued to badger me about this credit, despite the fact that her internet had been working flawlessly and she'd been able to watch the SD channels without a problem. I also explained that the entire cause of the problem was that we weren't charging her for that additional service and that I could not credit her for something she wasn't paying for. Suddenly, Karen, whatever, then credit me for the time I've been on the phone. I've had to talk to you people for more than an hour now. Now, I don't know why getting called you people was my tipping point, but that's when my professionalism went straight out the window. All right, let me have a word with my leadership team. Karen, angry huffing noises. Having a word with my leadership team involves putting you on mute, getting up from my desk, and shooting the crap with a supervisor for a bit. This particular soup, I knew for a fact, was cool as hell, and he was also bored because it was a slow night. I explained the entire situation to him, then told him my plan. Me. You got my back on this one? Soup. Yeah, all right. Me. Good, because I'm seeing an ESCO in your future. I then go back to my desk with the biggest crap-eating grin. I ran the calculations in the billing software to see what a day's worth of credit was on her bill. I then divided that by 24 and applied the credit to her bill. Then I unmuted the phone. All right, ma'am, I've talked it over with my leadership team and I've honored your request. You'll see the credit on your next bill. Good. How much? 17 cents. Are you kidding me? No, ma'am. I never joke about my work. You asked me to credit you for the time you spent on the phone with us, and that's what an hour is worth of your package. Let me talk to your supervisor. Certainly, ma'am. Just a moment. Mute phone. Hey, Soup, you're up. Soup walks over to my desk, takes over the call, and continues to no-sell her on her bullcrap, same as I did. He looks at the same call log I did and told her because she didn't call in about it until now, the most we could credit her was for the day. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there snickering like a gremlin. Soup just talks to her for a couple of minutes, then she hangs up. Then he looks down at me, and we both bust a gut laughing. Soup, you're kind of an a-hole, you know that? Yup, you knows it. Well, keep at it. Took maybe 1 or 2 more calls that night, then went home and had a beer. And you know what? It tasted like hoppy victory. Thanks for not rolling over for her. It only makes it harder when someone finally has to make the buck stops here stand. I don't know why it's such a hard word for those types. I can only assume their mommies and daddies never used it. And our next story, the hospital security guard. This story took place in my early 20s in the section of town where most of the houses and apartments are rented to college students. It's a fun place to live when you're that age. I couldn't imagine having to live there now. Anyway, I digress. I don't drive, so I was a frequent walker, and I was frequently on one illicit substance or another, but this particular day, for one reason or another, I was completely sober. Although I was sober, I was in a particularly good mood. I had a little bit of a skip in my step. I was off in my own head, daydreaming about something pleasant. At this point, it's important for me to tell you that I have a nervous tic that's similar to Stevie Wonder's head movement. The tic gets worse under certain circumstances and almost goes away under others. When I'm daydreaming, it goes crazy. Also drunk, sleepy, or lost in thought. When I'm super focused, the tic goes away almost completely. It's also important to note that I'm unaware of my head's movement. My eyes move opposite. So I'm walking near the hospital that sits in the center of this section of town. I'm daydreaming and my nervous tic is going like crazy. I spot a hospital security car. Looks just like a cop car. Naturally, I snap to attention. My tic likely disappears. The guard goes by, but he goes slow when he sees me. I'm nervous, but not for any reason as I was sober, had no arrest warrants, and wasn't carrying any contraband. A minute or so after the guard's car is out of sight, I calm back down and almost immediately start daydreaming again. Likely, tic comes right back. A few minutes later, I notice the security guard's car, and again, likely my tic goes away. The guard pulls over to the side and stops me. At this point, I'm a little more nervous. I don't like dealing with authority, and I'm sure this makes the security guard think I'm up to no good. Turns out he's a cop. Off-duty perhaps, but a cop still. I didn't have my wallet on me, so when he asked to see my ID, I didn't have it. He was convinced I was on drugs. Like I say, I've had cops think my nervous tic meant I was on drugs many times, but I've never been on anything when a cop thought I was. He ordered me to sit on the curb while he called the city police for backup. I was an obedient little citizen. I sat quietly. The guard asked me for my social security number, name, and birth date. I gave it to him. He then would read them back to me wrong. I'd correct him. We went through this routine for 10 minutes. Finally, the actual on-duty police officer showed up. This is not a calming thing for me. The cop comes up and talks to the guard, then to me. He asks me my information. I tell him. He asks me what I'm doing. I tell him I was walking by on my way to a coffee house and was detained by this guy for no reason. The cop tells me to hold tight and he'll be right back. He goes to his car, is there a minute or two, then comes back and tells me that I can be on my way. As I'm leaving, I hear the two of them talking. The cop basically tells the guy that I hadn't done anything and they had no reason to hold me. I get down to the coffee house and I'm peed the F off by what had happened, so obviously it's what I talk about. My buddies convinced me that I need to do something about this. Now, I'm not the litigious type, but I thought I could at least announce my displeasure. I wrote a letter to the hospital administrators. I explained that I was walking on a public sidewalk next to their hospital and was illegally detained by one of their officers based solely on a documented medical condition. I told them while I had this sort of thing happen to me previously, I thought that a hospital would be a place where I could count on not to be discriminated on based on a medical condition. About a week later, I walked by the same hospital and I saw said security guard. Did he have a nice security car anymore? No, he did not. Now he was guarding a parking lot on the night shift. I'll always remember purposefully walking under a bright streetlight, gaining his attention, smiling real big, and walking away. On a related note, for the next year or so, I would receive a phone call from a different vice president of the hospital apologizing and obviously trying to make sure I wasn't interested in suing. I got a call almost once every 3 weeks for the next year. Now, I know a lot of you are saying I should have sued, but honestly, I knew the hospital dealt with the issue, and that was all I was concerned about. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.